Good day, people, and welcome to our fifth episode of Cope with Us. My name is Kevin, and I am here with Luis today,
Hello.
once again.
Today, only today.
Only today. I'm here with Luis, and today's topic we will address sports, and that means professional sports, amateur sports, any kind of sports you can name. And to start,
I can name a few. Sports.
you can name a few,
yeah.
right? So, well, we're not gonna touch all sports, obviously, but we're gonna have a nice discussions about sports dilemmas and such. But as always, we will start off with a rather silly dilemma,
Yeah.
and I will ask Luis to start with it.
Before we start with those, like, has sports been really part of your life always?
Yes, absolutely. For me, sports have been a really massive part of my life. I don't know how it is for you.
I grew up like doing baseball a lot.
Baseball,
Like
okay.
I did 6 years of baseball, and
Uh-huh.
and during that time I did soccer, swimming, tennis, kung fu. It's like
Kung fu, okay.
combat arts considered sports.
Martial arts.
Martial arts.
Yeah. Of course, it's a sport. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, kung fu, and I did something else. Don't remember.
Yeah.
But I done so many, and I would say baseball was my main one. But then I moved out from the country Venezuela, and after that I was like lazy.
Yeah. Well, kind of the same. I quit football when I was 13-ish, and then in my high school I had plenty of sports. Actually, I had like extra sports classes, so I sported like 5 hours a week with my high school, and yeah. Then after that, I also got kind of lazy. So it is what it is. But I still enjoy watching sports a lot.
Yeah,
Do you watch any sports, or you're not really interested in that?
just like the big ones.
The big games, okay.
Like I would watch the World Cup.
The World Cup, yeah, of course. You're like one of those.
I mean El Clásico, you know.
Yeah, okay.
El Clásico is
Sure, yeah.
is El Clásico. You have to
Yeah.
watch it. Even I don't have a favorite, you just have to watch it. You know.
Yeah. All right.
If not, it's just for you to have a conversation.
Yeah. But
Topic with someone.
only football then? No, like other sports you.
I mean,
you really
in
watch?
Venezuela, baseball is the soccer. It's like
Yeah.
baseball is the main thing,
Yeah.
and everyone, and we have like each city, like here in Netherlands, each city has a big team.
Yeah.
In Venezuela, each city has baseball, and I'm from the capital, so we had the best team,
Yeah.
Los Leones, which is the Lions,
Yeah.
and it was just like so much rivalry between
Mhm.
each city.
Yeah.
My mom is from the other city that we have the rivals with,
Okay.
but my mom doesn't fucking care about sport at all. She
Okay,
doesn't really care.
You're lucky
but-
there then.
Every time we play, my dad just teases with her like, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
yeah,
won
she,
again."
She doesn't care. That's unfortunate. Yeah, my parents, my dad really raised me with football. Well, soccer, whatever you want to name it. I'm gonna name it football because
Yeah,
for
yes,
us Europeans,
football,
it's
football.
for us Europeans, it's
For us
football.
also.
So yeah, I watch it a lot. Still watch it a lot. Follow it all the time. And besides that, there's plenty of other sports I really follow. But again, like more like the big tournaments, right? Like I follow Formula One a lot. And if tennis, the big four, like the Grand Slams and stuff like that. But besides that, not really. So I think that kind of
Funny,
says it all.
yeah.
no?
Funny enough,
For you?
I see more golf games because my dad
Ah.
is really into golf, so he
alright.
just put it in the TV
Okay.
and I just see it. Than like for example, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad really also likes tennis, so we
Yeah.
also watch
Tennis.
tennis a lot. Tennis is
Alright.
actually really interesting.
Yeah.
The one I don't watch a lot and it's really fun is volleyball.
Uh-huh.
Like it's so fast, and it's just like people are just throwing themselves all around, like actually throwing themselves in the ground, and to get a ball is so interactive. I'm so surprised it's not that famous.
Yeah. Well, it is quite popular here in the Netherlands, I must say. And I think that's also how
But
you
you-
start watching sports. You just start watching the sports that are relevant in your country.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of how you
I mean,
grow up.
the Netherlands has the tallest person
Yeah,
in the
right.
world, so I think that's why that's
Well,
the reason.
We suck at basketball though, so that's a funny fact. But
Right.
all right, I think we can kick it off with
Yeah, let's start with the silly dilemmas.
I'll let you kick it off.
My dilemma is okay. I was just gonna say it, and then if you have any questions, I'll just.
All right, sure.
So, would you rather play like any sports that have a ball in it?
Okay.
Okay. so many.
Uh-huh.
With a super heavy ball or like super light ball. So
Oh.
I don't know if you had this when you were a kid.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these super like air filled balls that I used to play football with, and you just kick it and just go super fast. They don't
Oof.
hurt at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just imagine that
Oh,
like
wow.
tennis and something they have to play for like so far away because you can hit it so hard it just flies away.
Well, yeah. Phew. Well, I think the answer is very simple. You want to play with a light ball because playing with a heavy ball has like no value whatsoever. Like playing with a light ball can also be annoying because the ball just floats in the air, basically, right?
Yeah.
There's no way you can actually guide a ball somewhere. And with a heavy ball you can, but if it's too heavy, then
So what happened with
it will hurt, especially with football.
okay? What happened with bowling?
Bowling. I mean, I'll have to play bowling with a light ball. Okay. Well, that's fine. I can quit bowling. I don't mind. No, but I think bowling is the only. I mean, okay, basketball as well has a quite heavy ball, but
Oh, basketball could be fun.
basketball with a super light ball is.
Just bounce it once and just
Yeah, but we all used to play basketball with like a random ball that has like a Frozen image on it or Lion King image on it. Those like light balls. You can play basketball with that as well. Of course,
Yeah.
not as good.
Yeah, you cannot throw.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Uh,
no,
sh-
I think
Can I make a second like? Would you rather also like have like a bouncy castle like floor
uh-huh.
or
Bouncy castle floor.
like this is a bouncy like
Ah, okay,
court
yeah,
like in
okay.
basketball or something
Uh-huh.
like that.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, so like basically trampolines sort of.
yeah, but like bouncy castle. You
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
but
can,
bouncing castle. Yeah, okay.
you can jump a little bit high, but not that much. You know.
Yeah. Well, no. Why? That doesn't make sense. I think sports are fine the way they are right now. Honestly, there's something for anyone around. Let's just keep the balls the same way. But if I would have to choose, definitely the light one because I like playing football and I don't want to hurt my toes too much. So think
I'm just
that's,
gonna be frank here. I took like 10 minutes thinking of a dilemma, and this is the best I came up with. So
yeah.
this is not my best one, but it is what it is. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least once again, yours was actually silly, whereas mine is
Hit
more.
me with your philosophical one.
Yeah, right. Well,
Would you rather lose
Maybe.
your parents or play?
yeah, and play sports. No. Would you rather win once in your individual sports career of choice
Okay.
and then become irrelevant afterwards,
Okay.
or would you like to become second for like years at end?
Oh.
You can look at this from a lot of different angles. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
which makes it difficult because where do you start?
I mean, there's an angle of like career, basically.
Mm-hmm.
One secures a career. A second.
Finance, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Financially. But then there's of course also the individual thing that you want to win. Like
Yeah.
second is always the first loser,
Yeah.
right? So
But second, in everything like
every single like okay, let's say your career. I mean, it depends per sport how long your career is, of course. But let's say your career is 10 years, and you end second 10 years in a row, right? Or you win once, and then suddenly you become
I will create chaos.
garbage.
I will create chaos. I will go second always, and then I know I'm gonna win every game that's not the final. So you're just gonna break every.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know that you're gonna lose, of course. But you can still try, but you're just never gonna win.
No, I'll say like. I mean, you become irrelevant, but you're still in the books, you know.
You're still in the books, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think as much as you love the sport you play,
You want to keep playing it, yeah.
you want to make it feasible for you.
Yeah.
So winning it once and then becoming irrelevant and like literally becoming irrelevant to the extent that you don't even get to play it on a professional level anymore doesn't really make sense. Choosing that over playing
Yeah.
for 10 years straight, ending at second every single time.
I mean, second's a good prize money also.
Prize money, yeah, of course, but I mean, it must hurt. Like you will probably become a meme eventually, with
Yeah.
a lot of money more than the
But at
person. that
sixth
becomes
time you go, ooh,
Would you
well,
rather be a meme or would you rather be irrelevant? I guess that's also a similar question to ask them.
I think
But
if I like the sport I love, it's just like if you do what you love, doesn't really
Yeah.
matter if you win or not, you know?
No, I don't agree with you on that. I think if you play sports, you want to win.
Yeah, but
Absolutely,
would you
100%.
rather play without just for winning or like just because you like enjoy the sport?
Yeah, of course you also have to have fun in the sports, but winning actually makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like if I do what I love, I really like the sport, and okay, I know this is a dilemma that you
Hmm.
don't know basically. It just
Yes.
happens. I would say like just keep optimistic. I guess I would take the second place
All right.
just to have a
Can I add another small dilemma to it, real quick? Um,
keep third, take third place.
no, yeah, or would you like to be third all the time? No. Um, would you rather like play for a team that fights against relegation, or would you rather play in a team in the division lower that is actually fighting to become the champions of that league?
But if I find for relegation, that means like I'm not good, or what?
I mean, not necessarily. You're just playing for like, let's say you have the Premier League in England, right?
Oh, okay.
And you play for a very low team. I don't
So
know
that's
who's what.
basically saying like there's a saying in Spanish. It's like, would you rather be the head of the mouse or the tail of the elephant? Meaning
Mm-hmm.
like, would you rather be head in smaller league, the
Yeah,
best one, or the bottom of the
the
of the
best league.
best?
Yeah, exactly.
I would say the tail. I would say the
Yeah. Okay.
because at a certain point you're gonna get bored
Bored? In what sense you're gonna get bored?
of just if you're always the better one, you cannot
Yeah.
improve. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
you need adversity to improve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if there's relegation and then maybe you can get down from like you can lose
Mm-hmm.
the spot, but
And
you
then
can
you
get it
go.
back and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that makes it difficult. Like if you play for 1 year and you actually relegate, you will the next season, of course, play for winning the league. But let's say you actually relegate and then you go back to a team that is fighting against relegation again. You constantly play for relegation or you constantly play for winning the league in just the division lower.
I feel like relegation still.
Yeah.
I feel like you want to win stuff, but it's also just like it depends on the challenge you put to yourself, and then if you want to improve, this is the best way to do it. I'll say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think also from a financial aspect, once again, playing in a lower league just simply generates less money for you as an
Yeah,
individual because the teams are unable to pay you as much.
and that's all about sports. It's money at the end.
It's in the end it's always money, which kind of brings us to our news segment, um, and that's of course
Okay, the news of the week, not the news segment.
our news segment, our news of the week segment. Sorry,
It's just like news segment. Like, do we have a news segment?
new no 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 not news segment, our news of the week segment. Yes, exactly. Um, it's basically how sports has been affected by COVID-19,
I mean, yeah.
right?
We
We've seen a
we
lot
don't
of
need
it.
to explain COVID.
No, of course we don't need. We've talked about COVID before in different sections, the different branches of the world, and of course it also affects sports. For me, it was a very passionate football fan.
You were
Um,
sad.
it was upsetting, definitely upsetting, that all the leagues were suddenly cancelled from April on. Everything was just stopped, and it was really weird because you suddenly didn't have your Friday night game or your Saturday night game. And an interesting fact that was really funny is that in Europe, all the leagues are now slowly starting again. Well, actually, in Germany, they're already done, for example. But leagues are starting again, except here in the Netherlands, because we decided to not play way before other leagues decided to actually play again. So we're now not playing, and we're gonna play a new season, and everything doesn't really count anymore, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Do you have any experience with like certain sports, like in your country? How is it going there? Like, are they still playing back in Venezuela or back in Panama?
I don't think so. Like, in I don't know how things are going in Venezuela. I don't have any contact.
Yeah, fair enough.
Panama is just everything's still stuck inside. So
Everything's just like I said. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think they can play.
it's the same in America. It's almost as if America is the entire America, you would say as well. It's kind of like a third world country at this moment. I don't know, kind of irrelevant towards
Yeah.
the entire. No, but
Where,
just
where you going?
because they're late with it. They're so late. Like in Europe, everything is kind of like starting to
yeah.
roll again. In America, it's still.
America is just a beast of their own.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, absolutely. But that's again, that's slightly irrelevant of the
Yeah.
topic. What is interesting is, for example, countries are dealing with it so differently, especially in sports. Like, for example, Belarus never even quit.
Yeah,
Everything just continued, like sports related, right? Full audience, full stadiums, just playing
just
constantly.
go all the way out. Just
go all the way. And to be honest, I haven't seen much of what's going on there, besides that they are actually just going on with their lives. Like, it doesn't seem like it's as bad as it is in the rest of Europe and the rest of the world. But that's very interesting. And also, like, countries like Slovenia and Slovakia, they and even Serbia, they started playing again.
I just look like the population of Belarus, and they have
Yeah.
almost 10 million.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe they have a smaller population.
No, it's quite a big country, of course. But even the funny thing is, like, even in Russia, they stopped playing, you know.
Yeah.
And then Belarus suddenly was like, okay, nah, we're just gonna continue. And I mean, in other countries, they are continuing now as well. They're playing basically every sports. For example, in Slovenia, there was a cycle course, basically, through the country, and there was just audience next to the streets and everything. It was just completely packed, and everything was just going on like nothing happened.
Yeah, there's so many places around the world, and with sports, never, like, with sports and without sport, like, just in general, there's some places it's just they're acting like nothing happened.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just so weird. I don't know, like, these 3 months you had the idea of this, don't do anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like sports is such a necessary thing, not to like entertainment stuff, for also for healthy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's a huge economy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Also, imagine being an athlete and just being your scheduled life is just
Gone.
yeah. And but you have to keep the body. You have to be prepared.
Yeah.
So you have to like work out so much for one day. You know, like one day is gonna come back.
Yeah.
And that's for me. It's just I follow an athlete on Instagram, and she's like, yeah, she keeps working out. Like she has to keep the body. They never stop basically.
True. But
yeah.
I mean, I believe that's instantly just the life of an athlete.
Yeah.
That you have to be fit 365
I mean, they
days
like it.
a year.
It's not like they're forced to. They like it. That's
Well, I've seen a lot of players that quit their careers and then they're suddenly like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let it flow now, and then after 2 months they walk around with a belly. Yeah, Maradona, for example, is a really great example. Ronaldo Nazario, of course, as well. We have a Dutch player. I mean, you know Snyder, right? Yeah, he's now he's quite chubby now.
I heard something about Ronaldinho recently.
With his Paraguayan passport, that he went to prison because of it.
That was
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know it was like.
Yeah. He came in with a false passport, which was very interesting for him to do because he, of course,
like nobody knows his face.
Yeah, exactly.
His signature teeth. Nobody knows that.
Nobody recognizes it. Yeah, that was a very interesting choice of him to do.
Yeah, but during the COVID, I think what we saw, it's not only football. We saw a lot of like in NBA and the basketball. They are thinking about the court size places, which if you don't know, it's just people sitting around the basketball court. Or these are the most expensive seat of the entire place.
It usually has the celebrity sitting there and everything.
Yeah, if you see a photo of a celebrity watching a basketball game, it's probably they're sitting right there.
Yeah.
And for me, there's good seats, but then it's not like comfortable seat. It's just like those type of chairs that you can fold up. It's so funny for me. People pay so much money.
With football, you have like the sky boxes where you have like the really comfortable seats, but you're sitting super high up, so you can't see shit.
But you have a TV.
It's you have a TV. You can watch it from home as well. That's a whole different.
Yeah, but now with the car size, they want to like put like this type of mirror, plastic mirror, plastic whatever, between the NBA, the court, and the fans, just to like make sure there's no contact between. between those the players and stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is kind of weird. It's just we're used to something already,
Yeah,
and the fact that it's changing is just for us it's weird, but it's necessary steps.
It's
Also,
necessary.
they're saying like, and I think this multiple sports already, audience members or fans are not even gonna show or are gonna be reduced by a lot.
Yeah, well, again, like football started again with empty. Mostly in most countries, there are just empty stadiums that are playing in right now, and they are wanting to actually from in the Netherlands from September 1st they are gonna open it again, but only for a certain part of people. Like 1/3 of the people are allowed to be in the stadium, or even less, and they're not allowed to sing or cheer or anything, because that's when you release those bacteria, of course. And I mean, you know how a stadium works, right? It's like a diagonal line downwards. So of course, if you
Is that the reason?
well, yeah, the reason is that they are these. This is the rules in the Netherlands, right? You're not allowed to sing and everything, which kind of loses the whole point of having people in the stadium, at least to me.
Yeah.
But again, it's necessary, and if people want to be there, of course, I understand if you want to be there. But I think for someone who's watching it from home, seeing a stadium like 1/3 full, and then only like people not singing and just clapping when there's a goal, like I can watch golf if I want to do that, you know.
Do you have? Is it common here like to have like a drum, a
Yeah.
drummer guy or something?
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily common, but some teams have it, and it's actually really annoying.
Like the Iceland. Tum.
Yeah. Well, Iceland was pretty cool.
Iceland
but,
cool. But we had it. It's annoying every time someone scores.
Yeah.
This band in the back just.
Oh, but that's also interesting. Like I always see like football matches, especially like in Germany. This is very common. They have like flags, like massive flags. Like the guy in the front is holding a flag, and everyone behind it cannot see anything.
Yeah.
So that must be quite annoying.
Yeah, I will say just like yeah, it's gonna be weird just going to a football game or going to any type of game and just be there. Like golf.
Yeah.
If people say, "Oh, you have to concentrate in golf," you have to concentrate in any game.
Yeah, of course.
Golf, you just want to be
But
fancy.
same with tennis. You also have to be quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and tennis. Tennis is such a unique case. They also say like they're gonna reduce the amount of people inside the stadiums, or
Yeah.
but someone didn't care about that one.
Yeah, Novak Djokovic.
Djokovic.
Yeah, Novak Djokovic.
He made
number one of the world actually decided to just come up with a tournament.
Yeah, of what I know, you told me like he came up with a tournament in the middle of like this old thing, and then what happened?
Full stadiums, everything. He played with two or three other guys, like a small tournament, and actually he now has COVID-19.
Nice.
So yeah, that was not very smart. He made a large apology thing. Rumors are that he's actually like some anti-vax person kind of thing.
Oh.
So, but that was taken really out of context. Like he's not. He was just like, yo, I don't want to be a test bunny of potential vaccines for COVID-19, and that got taken out of context a lot. And suddenly he's like some anti-vax person. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is, but yeah, he did that, and he's now terribly sorry, of course. But I think he should have known better from the start. Although I already said, like countries like Slovenia, Slovakia, Serbia as well, they are also just playing sports with full audiences. So for their country, it was not that weird.
Where is he? Djokovic? Where is he from?
Serbia. He's Serbian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, if you don't respect the laws, you get. It's just the irony is fun.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, it's. Again, like you do something that you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
you get punished by it by nature. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah. So.
I guess. Yeah.
Nowadays, that's pretty much mainly the news. Like we don't want to cover when any stuff. We didn't want to cover such specific news. Like.
Yeah, there's a lot of specifics, of course, like sports, specific sports related. And I think right now, not the only, but the really major news in sports, of course, is the effects that COVID-19 has and the regulations that have to be made in the future, and of course we can talk about transfer news in football, but that's not really the podcast you're here for, of course. So
I just wanted to finish this section with asking you, like,
uh-huh.
I'm not a fan of sports. Well, like I can see it, but I don't go out of my way to see it. Do you feel like the lack of audience or like audience cheering affects the game, like the level of game?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you.
Like, isn't there like some leagues already starting or they already started?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see that?
Um. Well, that's actually a good question. My initial answer would be yeah, absolutely. You can see the lack of, not necessarily lack of intensity, but you can just feel there's a whole different vibe hanging, right?
Yeah.
But are you able to see it like in the results? I mean, I guess not. Not really, because it's hard to say like, oh, we would have won if we would have had audience. Like that's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I feel like when you're playing your football match and you're the home team and you're going on to a counter attack, like the people are cheering for you, right? And of course, some players will actually feel more pressure, will make a mistake, but a lot of people will, of course, also get motivated by it and actually do the right thing. So it's difficult to say, but I think definitely for the audience at home.
I ask you this because I follow esports, and one thing I said a lot. There's in Europe there's these two teams are the favorites. So they say like they have 6 players instead of 5 players because there's 5 players in the game basically, but they have 6 because they have the audience on their side.
Okay.
And it's funny because when you're playing in high competitive game, you have these headphones.
Yeah.
That you cannot hear anything outside.
Uh-huh.
But of course, if someone screams a lot, you can like hear the mumbles.
Yeah.
And it's funny if in that case, in that level, like you have headphones that cancel the audience sound. They still have an impact into the players. I can imagine like playing football, where there's no type of head. You hear everything they say. And then they must have an impact.
Yeah, I mean, at least they finally hear their coach screaming at them, which is funny. Cause
I always wanted to see like a sport like football, something they have this communication system, and they can just talk to each other.
It has been talked about. It has never really been discussed in a manner of like, we should do it. But yeah,
I think if that happens, it will be super tactical.
Yeah, which is already. This is already in how do you call that?
Development.
Development, yeah, it's already a development that's happening a lot. Of course, like football is becoming more tactical, also because it's becoming more important because the price of money and everything is just really high, so you have to win, right? In the past, it would always be okay, let's just attack, let's score a shitload of goals, and now it's just like okay, well, we have to win, so we can just defend the entire game, and then we tactically counter them, and then we score.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a difference in that already, and if you have actually give those communication systems, that would be very interesting. But I don't think it would. I mean, I think it would greatly influence it, but I don't think it would be a great idea because what's the point?
Communication.
Communication, yeah, okay, of course, communication, but you're not. Yeah, it's difficult. I would be against it, but I don't know why I would be against it. I think that's kind of my answer.
You're a boomer.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, I think that's exactly goes with our first dilemma of this. Like we said, news are just right now COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see sports coming back. Let's see. I think this shit is gonna change the entire history of sports. But this mentality that you have that you don't want it to change is because you grew up playing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then our first dilemma is just should kids be forced to do sports in the early ages of their life, basically?
Yeah.
And I do have an answer.
Oh, you have a.
But I want to see your story.
You already have a true answer. Yeah. Well.
I mean, in my opinion.
Your opinion, okay. Well, of course, I think. Especially at least here in the Netherlands, I think it's everywhere in the entire world. You have PE classes. We have it from the moment we are 4 years old, right? We go to elementary school and we have PE classes every week, like 1 hour.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk over a bunch of obstacles and you throw a ball, and that's it. As a young kid, of course. I started playing football when I was 6, I think, 6 or 7, and I just got signed up because I liked football a lot. I played football a lot, and my dad signed me up. So it was kind of a blessing for me. I was like, okay, yeah, this is great. I love this. I want to do this. So I did it for a long time, and then I quit. And that's basically it. So I was never really forced to do sports. But when I was 12, I quit because I went to a higher team, and I didn't really want to go to a higher team because I wouldn't be playing with my friends anymore. And that's when eventually I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play anymore because I want to play it
With
for
friends.
it to be fun,
Yeah.
right? I want to play it so I can play with my friends, and I kind of lost that, and that's why I decided to quit because I was somewhat forced to play with a better team, with people that I don't know. It's a big regret for me because, of course, in the end, you wanna you wanna do well, you wanna win, and you will get to know these other people, of course. But that's also why it's difficult to say like should kids be forced to do sports? Like I think, sorry to I keep rambling on, but especially in school, of course, absolutely 100% kids should be forced to do sports. Should they do sports outside of that? Maybe not necessarily.
Maybe. I was going to say with your story,
Uh-huh.
you said you were 12, and I think 12 is just the years that your friends are just what you have in the top priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if you got changed even 1 year later,
Yeah.
you probably might stay there.
Yeah, maybe.
But I see that's like I hear your decision, and I hear how old were you,
Mm-hmm.
and for me it makes sense. I will do the same.
Yeah.
I was going to say I do believe like people should make like before people the kids should be forced or like be inside in like pushed to the sports, maybe not forced, but more pushed to do any type of sports, anything. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be football, baseball, or whatever. I grew up with baseball,
Yeah.
and I think, but I grew up with a lot of sports, as I said before. Uh, but I think when I was 4 or something, my mom signed me up for these swimming classes.
Uh-huh. 4 years old.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that I was terrified of the water, but even though I have someone to teach me and something like that,
Uh-huh.
I think those ages are so important for you to like be forced with someone or
Mhm.
be pushed to do so many stuff because then you're not afraid in the future. I did baseball, I said before, baseball, swimming, tennis, and stuff like that. And the only sport I was good at was baseball, and swimming a little bit. But I said like I had so many. It forced you to make friends, early
Mhm.
friends.
Yeah, that's really good.
It forced you to have a little bit of a. I mean, when you're a kid, some when you're a kid you have so much energy, so it forces you to like expel that energy some way. And if you have the opportunity, I don't know, it's just kind of give a way to like connect with your parents in some way or another.
Yeah. But it's also a good thing, health
Yeah, healthy.
thing. Absolutely. But this is the interesting part for me. Like, you could absolutely claim that okay, just go play outside with your friends,
Yeah,
which is the same energy as doing a sports at a club. But I think this is especially where the problem occurs. Like, the people that have no friends don't play sports and don't play outside,
mm,
right? So the ones that don't really make friends in school, they suddenly become somewhat like a problem factor, like health wise and also just like making friends wise, because they don't have any friends, they don't make any friends in school, so
yeah,
and they don't play outside because they don't have any friends. So you would kind of have to somewhat force them to do sports, hoping it would have a positive effect on them.
yeah. And I think for me when I was a kid, I think my mom told me a story that I got signed for football.
Yeah.
One day.
Ah.
It was all. I did one day. They asked us to run around the court.
Uh-huh.
I was too lazy for that. I cried to my mom. My mom was like, "Okay, you don't like football." And then baseball. Yeah, you have to run, but you're also standing up a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I like this. So I think also I had the influence of my brother. My brother was playing first, and my
Yeah.
father also played at the time. So I think it's just that I was just going to say like, I'm not a parent, not even close to that. I just imagine how I would do it. And I don't know if it's correct or wrong, but I think this is the same way my parents did it. It's just they try stuff with me. You
Yeah,
know?
I guess the trying stuff is what's so important.
Yeah.
Don't force them. I mean, yeah, you will force them to do stuff because you also force them to eat their vegetables, and you will find out whether they like broccoli or not
Yeah, I don't like.
by doing that. Yeah, exactly, right? So it's the same with sports. You should kind of like at least check it out, like
Yeah.
see if they like swimming, see if they like doing baseball or football or whatever. And
Just like if you put into a class and they never say like they wanted to or they never played the sport before, they're gonna be terrified. But if you're like, oh, let's go swimming, and then you swim with the kids or your child, whatever, or you play ball like football or baseball a little bit,
Yeah.
then they get familiarized, and then you, I guess you can see a little bit. Also, like if the kid likes dancing or something, you have to take this. You want to make the
Energy,
best decision,
Yeah.
but if you want to, like, if you force it too much, the kid is gonna reject it.
Yeah.
Because I started rejecting baseball after a while,
Mhm.
and then
Okay.
I came back. But you have to like it's so tricky. But I think it's the benefits
Yeah.
are so important that you should be forced. And I think throughout the ages also, like now athletes are looking so like holding to this celebrity high standard stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like nowadays, when you were a kid, every male, at least in my example, every male want to be the next. In our time was Ronaldo, Ronaldinho,
Yeah.
and I don't remember anyone else at
Uh-huh.
that time because I didn't. Pepe, I guess. What's the name of?
Pepe, really? The Portuguese?
Yeah,
The goalie?
yeah, there was another.
Zidane, you had of course.
Brazil. I don't know why we had so like respect from Brazil.
Oh, you're
I was at the time with Maradona, but I don't remember him.
that's way before, yeah.
In Brazil was Caca.
Kaká, of course, yeah. Great.
That means shit in
My-
Spanish.
Yeah, I know.
So that was
That's
funny.
that's not his actual name. That's a very fun little story. His little brother was not able to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Which was his actual name is Ricardo Isaacson dos Santos Leite.
Okay.
The more you know.
Um,
And yeah, his little brother was not able to pronounce his name properly, so he called him Kaká instead of Ricardo, and that's where
Okay.
it kind of came from. And yeah, it means shit in Spanish. Okay.
I
Good to
just
know.
saw his name every time. So oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Haha. Well,
Yeah. Well.
everyone wants to be like that, you know.
Yeah. But as like okay, yes, you talk about a lot more like the professional players, which is something of course that gets created from being a young child, right? If you play, you have a lot of advantage if you play from a young age because you will have more time to develop,
Yeah.
into a top athlete in the future, and that's really interesting because if you look at it from an economical perspective, which is kind of our next dilemma is whether the inflated prices of athletes, the inflated salaries of these athletes, are they like even justifiable anymore? Like, is it normal to pay over 100 million for a? Because I think that's the only place where you pay someone else to get someone.
No.
No.
I'll say because there's example really recently. I'm gonna go through this really fast because we talked about this before.
Uh-huh.
In the streaming.
Okay.
In the streaming world, they came this company called Mixer.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they
Uh-huh.
paid 10 million to get one streamer. And then
Okay.
once they paid that one, the first one, every other streamer said, "Hey, I have value onto this," and they went to all the other companies and say like, or the company they were with Twitch, they like, if you don't pay me, another company is gonna take me.
Yeah.
And this rumor that every contract, of course, this is the top. Every contract is like 20 million, 10
But
million.
this is a really recent thing,
Yeah.
right? So that's interesting because streaming, of course, is quite recently becoming way more bigger
I mean,
over the years.
Yeah,
of
we
course.
also have the esports athletes. But
Yeah.
I think that's also takes as an athlete, but this is like also similar to that.
But look at like celebrities, like artists, they tour, and people buy tickets, they get the tickets, they get the revenue from their album and shit like that, and an actor gets a role, gets paid like that. It's just a different way of paying someone, but the fact that they pay a different club
Yeah.
a shitload of money to actually buy someone, it always like amazes me because there's a transfer going on, we're gonna pay 23 million for this guy. Okay, sure, 23 million is nothing because in today's market it is nothing.
Yeah.
Right, because prices are inflating so much, and it's insane that like right now you have to spend 80, 90, 100 million.
Who is the most expensive?
That's a difficult one. I think it's still Neymar. Is it still Neymar? I think it's still Neymar. No, it's not Neymar. Yeah, it's still it's Neymar. Absolutely Neymar to PSG, of course.
He went to PSG, then
No, he went from Santos in Brazil to Barcelona, and then from
Barcelona,
Barcelona
then
to
PSG,
to PSG. Yeah,
and he
for,
didn't he came back?
for over 200 million. No, he didn't. There were a lot of rumors of him going back to Barca, but he hasn't.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't yet come back.
Also, the rumors are crazy. But yeah, the price is just so big, you know.
It's almost like every year a player goes for a higher amount of money as the year before. Right, and like defenders, attackers, we have like two Dutch guys actually, two Dutch defenders, Van Dijk and De Ligt, who transferred for over 80 million to a new club, to Liverpool and to Juventus, and that's for like a defender, which is a reasonably less valuable player than an attacker, price wise. And every year there's just like players going for such a high amount of money, and you're like, you don't even realize how much it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, some player goes for 23 million. Like, okay, well, that's nothing. It's really cheap. But like 23 fucking million. That's a lot of money. That's really a lot of money. And I almost feel like it should have a limit, because these clubs are so powerful. And what it creates especially is like a gap between the smaller clubs and the bigger clubs.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, it is happening quite a lot. But there's like, you really have to have like one really lucky season where you're really good, and then you can grab the money and you can start building on your team. But it is impossible as a small club to even try to get to.
It's funny because if a small club with the players they have, they get a good season, so they get a lot of money. The next season, now they have money, they're just gonna remove the players who they play well in that season to get a new shiny new player.
Well,
and then there's been cases that doesn't work.
Yeah.
In esports, happen like that. You have these super teams. All the players are so good and whatever, and they're expensive, and then they just don't deliver.
Yeah.
And then you have this team of rookies.
Yeah.
But they are just passionate about the game, and they have good communication and good chemistry, and they work.
Yeah. That's very important. Leicester City, I don't know if you heard the story. They won the league, like the Premier League, like 2-3 years ago, I think, right now, which is crazy. They spent like almost like they spent 20 million. The entire squad was worth like 25 million. They had a lot of players that were worth nothing. They actually managed to win the league out of nowhere. No one ever would have expected it. Like, he would have probably been a millionaire if he put a bet on that. And now. After that, like, two of their best players left, a few more players left, they bought some new players, it was like, and they started dropping again.
Yeah.
And they were 10th, and this year actually they're 3rd at the moment, so they actually managed to build from that, still in a way, even though they...
It's so... Like, you need to have the shiny players, but then you also want... Like, I feel like if you have a good season, you should keep the players, man.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how it works, I mean, that's very interesting. I mean, for me, what is also interesting is that this is mainly happening in football, right? Like, do you know how it works in basketball, like the drafting stuff?
No,
me neither, to be honest. I'm very unfamiliar with that. It's like you draft players go from one team to another team. There's like I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there are like college basketball, the college league, and out of those leagues there are always a few that are going to be drafted, and the team can just pick them up and get them.
It's just like that's good. It's just they let them this college level to show themselves, that they are good, and then the people just pick them up.
Yeah. And here it is actually crazy. It changed. The rule changed until 15 years old, I think. But for example, a club like Chelsea likes to buy a lot of young players, like really young, like 13 years old, 12 years old. Yeah. They just pick them up, and let's say there's just some random Dutch guy going to high school, and he gets picked up by Chelsea, and he moves to the UK. He suddenly has to learn a new language. Well, of course, if you're 12, you're learning English anyways, but your life changes, and you have like no guarantee of becoming successful, because your career will only start like in 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So those things are crazy. It's a crazy sports in general, and it's hard, like, especially with team sports. This is the case, of course, because there's clubs, right?
Yeah.
If you look at it from an individual perspective, you have like tennis, for example, or golf. Like,
I mean, you don't have
so differently.
You don't have a club, but you have like partnership and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think it's a lot. Not necessarily easier, but like it's maybe more convenient to manage your own
Yeah.
sports life than to manage it like.
I want to go from here because we run a little bit out of time. I want to get into the last one, which is a most like a little bit most debated, or as we said before, there's no answers to whatever we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to talk about the word of trans athletes.
Trans athletes. Okay. Yeah.
Because I saw some stories, and there's always a common saying like the common dilemma is trans athletes should be allowed to be play on
their genders
league.
Yes.
And on why and what should not. I want to take an example of a trans man by the name of Chris Mosier. He is a race walker.
Race walk, yeah, like just fast walking basically.
Yeah, fast walking is basically like running, but I think the difference is you cannot lift 2 feet at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Something like that. But he got accepted into the male United States national men's team. Yeah, I think in this case, it's really good to hear. But then the question is like, should a trans woman, for example, trans woman who plays basketball,
for instance,
should she be allowed to play in a WNBA or something like that, where even though you are developing these changes, your body still has the advantages and disadvantages, because women and men are equal in so many places, but I think biology and anatomy, we are not equal.
No, absolutely.
Men are stronger and faster than women, and that's been proven along so many times, and that becomes the question, like if a trans woman should be allowed to play or not, because if Dave Chappelle made this show, like if LeBron James comes out as a woman and he goes to WNBA, in this case she will be scoring like 300 points to 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Only by himself.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's just so difficult. LeBron James his body is already so strong.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about this?
It's annoying in the sense that a trans woman, is actually just not allowed to play any sports.
Yeah.
Because they can't put her back to play with the women.
A trans woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a man that turns into a woman cannot play with women.
Yeah.
Because he or she is still too strong. Right?
Yeah.
And then she can also not play with men because she's losing her body, like she's turning into a woman.
Yeah.
So for a person like that, it's super frustrating, right? And then if you look at it the other way around, like a woman turning into a man, for a man to actually get to that point, for a trans man to actually get to the point that they, for example, like Chris Monsieur here, he managed to qualify for the Olympics, like he's going to try to qualify for the Olympics, that's incredible to see, like someone that goes through such a big change and then actually managed to train in such a sense that he becomes a Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is the difficult part, like it doesn't really go the other way around.
I think you say something a little bit before we start. You say like a trans man is always in a disadvantage and a trans woman is always in advantage.
Yeah.
And it's always better to see a story of someone who is in disadvantage coming up and being that disadvantage and get whatever they are, but it's not always so good to hear someone who just came with an advantage whatsoever, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
I will say, if we put in if we just take out genders all the way around, just take out the genders, and for example, in the case of Chris Mosier, if he is good enough, doesn't really matter what he represents or what he feels like it feels like. But that argument doesn't work on the other way around, because if someone in the case of basketball, if someone's already good at basketball,
Yeah.
and then they turn the person becomes a transgender woman, that skill is and the force
Yeah. Yeah.
is too strong, it's too powerful, that it will be such an advantage to any team to have
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess there's no solutions, or unless they make a transgender
Yeah.
league, but that depending on how many
Yeah. Exactly.
people
Yeah.
there are.
Well, and again, you can also play korfball if you want to, the Dutch sport, which I believe is the only sports that is done with mixed genders.
I mean, there's some sports I think that
the frisbee.
the
Right?
ultimate frisbee I play with mixed genders.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking in
And
high
golf,
level.
there was something with golf going on, like
Yeah.
the Scandinavian series are gonna be mixed this year, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like they're gonna have that mix, and then especially in golf, it's a very difficult discussion, because how important is your physical posture when you're playing golf,
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot of debate about that. Like, okay, yeah, you have to swing really hard, and like if you're 6'4" as a man, or 5'6" as a man, the difference is still massive. So let alone it being a woman that is again 5'6", like this woman will have less power most likely,
Yeah.
right? So it becomes very difficult. We'll have to see. It's interesting that they are trying that out. I think it's really cool that they're trying that out.
I think it's a good way to say, like, is it power everything
Yeah.
that we need?
Yeah.
Like in golf you just don't need speed. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
in golf
yeah.
there's no speed.
You
in-
walk to
in-
the next hole.
Yeah,
and
there's you don't even fucking walk. You get into your cart and you just
Yeah,
drive
yeah,
there.
right. Yeah, that's true.
Golf is such a sport that it requires so many things.
Yeah.
Like, it requires so big of a field.
Yeah.
And I'm so surprised that still is so famous. But either way, like, there's no speed in.
No hate on
in-
golf here. Come on.
Yeah, my dad loves golf, so yeah, there's no speed involved into this, so it's only strength, and then doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball.
Yeah.
If you hit it wrong, it's even worse. You know, if you hit it outside or you hit into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dirt,
it's-
it's
yeah.
worse. So maybe if a woman comes here and she doesn't hit it that hard, but she has an aim
Yeah.
really good,
Yeah.
that could count. I don't know. We have to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see.
Yeah, I
because of
think-
course there's also a league specifically for women and a league specifically for men, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of discussion about that as well, of course, right?
Yeah, I think, just to wrap this up, wait, it was
Right. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, in the sense of trans, I think it's such a debate that
It's difficult. It's
It's
really
difficult.
difficult, because you will never be able to tell where this person is physically equal to a woman or a male.
yeah,
You can never tell that. Most likely, you will never be able to tell that. So it's really difficult to.
but I do wish there was like some more sports with misgenders.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm sure that there has to be.
Think of it, like it's so difficult to say, because like let's say you mix it in football.
Yeah, no, like I know,
Right.
I know, like football and stuff, it doesn't work, but
But what
some-
sports does?
I don't know, volleyball. I don't know.
Volleyball.
Yeah.
Not even volleyball. It's the same. I think, especially ball sports are really.
Bowling.
Bowling can work. I think bowling already works.
Yeah, I
think
think bowling already works. Yeah.
Darts works. Like darts is currently a sport where one woman is playing as a darts player professionally.
Yeah.
That's really cool. She's going into the men's league, which is funny because they used to have separate leagues, and now she's actually switching over.
Darts
but
doesn't make sense. Darts, if you get the dart into the board, that's all you need.
you need the extra body weight, of course.
Yeah,
The extra belly, and the arm fat, like. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's difficult to say. Like a good example, which has always been something that people use who are against, who really want to prove that women and male and female are not equally strong is of course the Australia women playing against Australia under 15 boys. That the under 15 boys actually won 7-0.
Yeah, it was the Australian football women's team that's
Yeah.
ranked fifth of the best in the world. They
Yeah.
lost 7-0 to a 15-year-old guy boys team.
Yeah, from Newcastle Jets, which is one of the Australian teams. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me that's astonishing.
Yeah.
That
Even for me, like that was such an incredible thing to see. Like, what the hell? How is that possible? That there's such a big difference because this is not like the men's team and the women's team playing against each other, right? This is actually 15-year-old, like under 15-year-old kids, like 14 to 15-year-old kids playing against professional women. So I don't know that still amazes me to see nowadays, and that's also like another interesting debate that we had, another dilemma that we had for the ending, right? The equal pay for
yeah.
women and male sports. Like, is this like what does this show you? Does it show you that the women that are fighting for the equal pay, should they have it in sports events, or
I think the pay just comes I think it never came from skill. I mean, I guess in football stuff like the price of each player it comes from
Mhm.
skill basically.
Yeah.
But it comes from the value of the public put into you.
Yeah.
So if there's no viewers, I'm sorry, but you don't like you need to you need to generate money to get money somewhere or another.
Yeah.
And if you're not if the viewers are not looking at you because I don't know viewers are more
Well,
used to this or
No,
whatever.
no. This is a very easy example. People want to watch the best possible thing. They don't want to watch some amateur movie made by some random guy. They want to watch a movie that is, produced by whoever famous producer and directed by whoever famous director, because that is a blockbuster movie. And
Yeah.
it's the same like in your field, like in the esports field, like people want to watch that. People don't want to watch some random person playing a video game which they're actually not that good at, not as good as the pro players.
Yeah.
They want to see the highest level,
I mean,
the highest quality. We're
we
like
have the-
spoiled with that.
We had
Because-
the opportunity to see personality behind, but
Yeah.
in sports it's difficult to do that.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, right. So I mean, and let me tell you, like 2016 or 2017, I believe, the Dutch women team won the Euros for female. The entire country was orange. It was amazing, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and you can see the quality level that there is quite a difference between it, but it's still very entertaining to watch. But I think a lot of people will still watch male sports also because there's more audience, there's more, a higher intensity, higher quality, and that's just how it is. Like, people want to see the best quality thing, and I think that's why women are less watched while playing sports.
Yeah, I think it's also it's common.
Yeah.
We're used to watching.
Yeah, well, we're used to having high quality things, and if you see something that has like less quality,
Yeah.
then that doesn't work. And again, this is again interesting because especially in America, this is a big dilemma with Megan Rapinoe, who is really standing for equal pay. The funny thing in America is like the American national team, the male team sucks. The female team is actually really good,
Yeah.
and they are the best female team in the world. Does that mean they get the same money? No.
They should.
And that might be unfair because a lot of women are a lot of the women team is actually gets in a lot of views. They win they win the cups and everything, and the American team is
They
not
should
that great.
they should bottle it out. They should make them play against each other.
Yeah, and the truth is the male team will most likely still win.
No.
Well,
sorry.
no, not most likely. This is just a statement. The male team will still win
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
Easily, and that's no disrespect, like, but that's just the truth, right? And does that mean the women team should earn less? No, not necessarily, because if a lot of people actually watch the World Cup, which they won, so be it. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's combination between best or not, and also combination of entertainment. Like
Yeah.
if it all comes out to how many numbers you pull. If you don't get that much many numbers, it doesn't make sense. I think in America it's kind of doesn't really work like that because I don't think there's many people watching the male football league.
No, the MLS.
I
No.
I think there are more people watching the female football league because they're the best of the world, but
Yeah, yeah.
it just depends like the tournaments they each play.
Like I think especially during the big tournament, I think the MLS is actually more popular than the female MLS. That's for sure. But when it comes to the national team, I think the women team actually has a high quality, especially in comparison to the other female teams.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason why Americans would definitely watch that. But this discussion is going on in every sport. It also happens in tennis. You know, like male tennis players earn more than women because they generate more money.
Mm.
An interesting thing is like, for example, tennis tickets are sold for really high prices, right? Because the stadiums are not that big, and the price is just at first the price is really high, and then they lower it, right? It's kind of like plane tickets. At one point, the prices get lowered because they need to sell the tickets.
Yeah.
They need to make sure it's full. The male stadiums are always filled, way faster than the female stadiums. So even though the stadiums are full, it's still like it generated less money, right? And I think that speaks volume
Yeah.
of what people want to see, right?
Yeah.
So
I think we have to finish it here.
Yeah,
we're
probably.
coming out of the 1 hour mark.
yeah, we're reaching the hour mark, which
Yeah,
is
so-
really our limit, of course.
I think that this discussion is
it's a difficult discussion.
yeah, it's something we shouldn't like. We're not gonna get any answers from here. It's just interesting for us to leave our opinions in some
Yeah,
way or
yeah.
another. So let us know what you think about it. In either I think we're gonna start pushing this in SoundCloud, so there's a comment section below it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Exactly,
anything.
and then yeah, I think that was it for today.
Yep.
I will hope you see you all next time with another topic. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for listening, and have a nice day.
Thank you guys. Bye.